Welcome to another episode of the Apocalypse. It's too late, it's all bloody over. You've already chosen it, we cannot go back. I am sorry. It was your choice, not mine. It appears Miss Lindsay thinks because we did it in Iwo Jima, we can do it again. The funny thing is, when you bring up Iwo Jima and the victory there, you must also mention that 7,000 troops were lost. Could you bloody imagine? Again, let's say 500, 1,000 are lost this time. I have a feeling it will be more. I don't think the American public would be too happy with that. So when drunk-ass Miss Lindsay brings up Iwo Jima as if it was some type of bloody success, or in comparison to this situation, I get worried. Let's begin. Of course, first thing in the morning, 8:24 a.m., Donnie shitbags. Gotta spread that evil, gotta spout those abominations. He is the Antichrist. Now with the death of Iran, the greatest enemy America has is the radical left, highly incompetent Democrat Party. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. Okay, it's called the Democratic Party Hillbillies, first of all. And they say Democrat Party specifically for you hillbillies, because it works on you. All I heard here, and people been calling me over-dramatic, disingenuous trolls, bots, all kind of people for 10 years, son. When I say stuff just like this, you ready? All I heard here was Adolf Hitler demonizing the liberals to get them out of the way so he can go full fucking Reich. That's all I heard, son. You know why? Because that's all he's saying. The right-wing grift machine, before Donnie came along, has been building this foundation of equating liberals with every evil you can think of, socialism, Marxism, and they equate socialism and Marxism to Adolf Hitler and all the tyrants of the world, when none of them were socialists, none of them were Marxists. They were all, guess what, class? Fascists. Just like this movement. Just like the right-wing movement has always been in the modern era in America, 1945 to now. The right-wing grift machine has been building this foundation since 1945, all day, every day, since before I was fucking born, the same talking points about liberals and Democrats. Equating them to Adolf and socialism as if Adolf was a fucking socialist. And you must always ask yourself, you must ask yourself, if you're a smart human being and you are a right-winger or a left-winger, you have to ask yourself this obvious question. Why have right-wing nationalists and the right-wing grift machine since 1945, been trying to convince you, Joe Public, that Democrat and liberal equals Adolf when they were the first people Adolf locked up? Son. Why do they need to convince you of that? I've explained it to you before. But a smart person would ask the question, why keep hearing this argument when I know damn well Hitler wasn't a socialist? He was a dictator born of Satan. That's all he ever was. A bully, a thug, a scumbag. There was no socialism going on. He used that word for a reason in his party description. For the rube. And the socialists hoping they would join. They didn't. He locked them up. I've explained to you again, now that the right-wing grift machine has built this foundation all this time because they never liked democracy, they never liked liberalism, anything progressive. Oh no, they want to take us back to King George, son. What do you think they're building right now? And what do you think the right wing's been building since 1945? That. And they've chipped away at our rights, and they've enslaved us further and further and further. The right wing. They're the ones that tied healthcare to your job. Dumbass. Richard. Scumbag. Nixon. They're the ones that want the billions in politics. And they got it. Their movement is replete with bots and trolls for a reason. Their movement isn't popular. They need to cheat in every election in any way they can for the past 40 fucking years at least, if not more. Because their movement is not popular. Just like Adolf's movement wasn't popular. No fascist movement's ever fucking popular, and that's all the right wing has been since 1945. And it's been obvious. A white nationalist movement. A far-right movement. Just like Adolf. Same exact fucking thing. Just without the swastikas. Actually, the Klan does like swastikas. I forgot about that. The racists in America love it. They just didn't mainstream it, that's all. Like Adolf did. So they've been building this foundation where it's okay to talk about shooting liberals. It's okay to think about killing liberals. That's dinner table talk. That's how far they've got it in our country. Anyone that's not, I don't know, down with all the stuff they're down with, pedophilia, shit like that. Since every other person they vote for is a pedophile. Must see something they like, I don't know. Taking money from the poor, hoping they'll be the billionaire guy that they idolize. Thinking America is a white country when it never was. Thinking America's a Christian country when it never was. Freemasons, son, Freemasons. Read about it, son. I don't have time to explain it to you. That's who built this nation. But they didn't want a king. They were tired of that bullshit. Even though they were Freemasons. Even though they wanted us to get to here, where we're at now. Novus Ordo Seclorum. The peasants were Christians. The powerful, the guys writing the laws, the guys signing their name to the Constitution, all that shit. Or the letter to King, whoever, George, whatever the fuck his name was. All Freemasons. George Washington is the Jesus of Freemasonry. And that's obvious. So that's who founded your nation, and the way DC is set up and the monuments and everything. You know the story, son. It's been on the History Channel. You've seen it. I knew it before it came on the History Channel. Because it's quite obvious. That pyramid on your money, that didn't get there by accident. The Novus Ordo Seclorum, that didn't get there by accident. There's a group behind that. And those same symbols and monuments, well, the Freemasons love those symbols and monuments. So I guess the Freemasons are responsible for getting that on our money, huh? And the Freemasons love this Novus Ordo Seclorum idea, which happens to be white nationalism and complete global control of every human being. So most of what right-wing Christians believe is complete bullshit. This was not a Christian nation the way it was founded, not at fucking all. There was a large group of Christians that came here. They were fucking peasants. They weren't anyone in charge, son. So that's the true history. And it seems the Freemasons have mostly aligned with white nationalism and Nazism and shit like that. And that's why we're where we're at right now. At the moment that money was talking about. That all of our dumbasses had in our pocket the whole time. We're there. So this was obviously a Freemasonic dream. The Antichrist, all of it. And now it's their moment, and now it's the devil's moment. Back to this, though. But that is part of it, what I just said. So the right-wing grift machine builds this idea, and we've all watched it play out throughout our lives, our entire lives. And it's gotten stronger and stronger and stronger, and got us to this moment where they're shooting lesbians in the face on the street in front of us. That's the right-wing grift machine. That's where they wanted to get to. They're there. Not just black guys anymore. All liberals. All ethnicities that aren't white as well. But they'd love to shoot a white liberal too. That's what's going on right now. So the white nationalist movement, the nationalist movement of America, the right wing of America, just like Adolf's right wing in his day, a good part of the movement was violence against those you disagree with. That was an integral part of the movement. We've already seen that play out right in front of our face, and the state sanction it. That's Adolf, baby. Mr. Pretty, Miss Good, the Miss Martinez got shot 5 times for a bounty, and they tried to put her in jail for the rest of her life if they put 5 holes in her. This idea of violence against liberals is necessary for the fascists. Because the fascists, the ones who want to take the world in a certain direction, to Satan, like Adolf Hitler did, where they rule it. There's one stumbling block in the way, because right-wing nationalists, foregone conclusion, they've already bent over, their guns are on the shelves, they love what they see. Because they don't think it's going to touch them, but boy, it's so going to touch them. They're too stupid to realize that until it's way too late. So their foregone conclusion in 1939 or 1933 in Germany, in 2024 here, from 2015 to this point, they're a foregone conclusion. They've bent over. They will take whatever dear leader does because it's getting the brown skins out of America. That's what they're looking for. Just like the last white nationalist movement in Germany. Ethnic minorities, no good, only whites. South Africa, apartheid, only whites. Funny, it's the one group Donnie likes to import, white South Africans. Said he wanted some Norwegians too. You know what that means? White as well. Coincidence, I'm sure. So the fascist right wing building their movement up, certain people like George Bush Sr. was probably hoping he could be the leader of it. He could be the face of it. He could have the blessing since he gave the New World Order speech. So I guess he was a Mason or some high-level clubman. Because he gave the speech, son. So he's looking for something. Maybe he's looking to see if he could get the title that Donnie got. So now we're at the moment where we got a madman in the office because you people put him there. And he wants to be Adolf Hitler. He wants to be the fascist. And he's modeled his movement and his takeover the same. He's modeled it after Adolf Hitler's movement and takeover. Complete with coup attempt and everything. And there's one stumbling block in the way. Liberals, Democrats, people not in the cult, anti-fascist. Who would have thought in America that being anti-fascism would be a problem? Again, inversion of reality. The devil, that's all that is. Fascism is evil. It results in only evil every time. That's why Dottie's doing it. He is evil. So all I hear here, and I did not mean to talk this long about this. The fuck. I digress too much. Now with the death of Iran, the greatest enemy of America's radical left, highly incompetent Democrat Party. That is Adolf Hitler demonizing the liberals, and yes, the liberals will get locked up. What do you think the camps are fucking for? Just like in Germany. Look, we've seen the Nazi salutes, we've seen the camps, we've seen the death camps in El Salvador, we've seen the mass Gestapo shoot citizens in the face. Look, he wants to be Adolf Hitler, and that's where this is going. I'm sorry. That's not drama. You should understand that by now, be ye rube or not. Everyone should know by now where this is going. It's quite obvious. It's quite obvious who they modeled their movement after. That's why it's quite obvious to me, and for many years it's been, demonize the liberals every chance you get, keep the rubes all mad, because we're going to lock them up in the future, because they are the only stumbling block to full Reich. We need a percentage of the population to hate them. Then we can round them up, get them out the way, full Reich. That's all Dottie's doing here. On Monday, ICE will be going to airports to help our wonderful TSA agents who have stayed on the job despite the fact that radical left Democrats are only I'm not even going to read the rest. He's announcing again that he's sending the mass Gestapo machine guns to airports. He's literally sending a terrorist force. The intent is to terrorize. That's why I sent him out on our streets. The intent was to murder, rape, kill, steal, imprison, cause mayhem, literally. He's saying we're going to cause that mayhem at airports now. And people are saying some very interesting things that I didn't quite catch about maybe he's doing this for other purposes. It's not just a reaction to, oh, the TSA isn't being funded. There's something more going on. I kind of look at it this way. Any problem, Donnie can throw the mass Gestapo out because they're his personal thugs. And everyone knows it. Immune. Masked. No accountability. In fact, they get rewarded for murder. Straight up. Any situation like this is just an intimidate. That's all he knows how to do. He doesn't know how to be diplomatic. So he's sending the mass goons. He's announcing it again. Fat ass Tom Homan came out. First, we're going to Scott Bessent, though, before we get to fat ass bags of cash Homan. Welker and Bessent. And Bessent's getting old, man. He can't even really talk well anymore. It's getting kind of ugly with this guy. Do you think it's appropriate for the president to celebrate the death of a Bronze Star Purple Heart recipient who served in Vietnam? She's obviously asking about Bob Mueller and what Donnie said. Remember yesterday, Donnie said, good, I'm glad he's dead. Now, I thought after I did the live stream yesterday, I said, I can't wait to see Miss Levitt answer the question about these posts he put up today. And that might come Monday or Tuesday or whenever they get a chance at her. It's going to be like, why did Donnie say he's glad Bob Mueller's dead? And she's going to say exactly what Scott, I already knew what she would say. Well, he was unfair to Trump and blah, 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 blah. You ready? Bessent's getting out front with it. We'll hear Levitt say the same fucking thing. How evil Bob Mueller was for going after Donnie and it was wrong. Even though Donnie's an abject pedophile, criminal, traitor, rapist. Every horrid thing you can think of. Neither one of us can understand what has been done to the president and his family. You mean why they were grifting and betraying us? Right before he staged a coup? Or that was right after when Mueller came along. I can't even remember. Yeah, that was after, wasn't it? But is it appropriate for the president to celebrate the death of an American citizen? We're so far gone, and you people are so far gone, you know who you are. The people that are down with this guy and Donnie. We're so far gone that they can't even bring themselves to say, yeah, that was wrong to say that. Donnie probably should have said that. I don't support it. Can't even go there. Not one of them will have the courage, I'm sure. That's how far gone and lost we are. That's how twisted backward these people are that ever supported this. Donnie and all his people for 10 years. You people are so backward, again, you don't even realize how backward you fucking are. But you go to church on Sunday, that's all that matters, right, son? Not after you take the mark, it won't matter. Given what has been done to President Trump and his family, it's impossible for either of us to understand what he's been through. No, actually, we can understand. If we committed a bunch of crimes and we got caught, we'd get investigated, we might get arrested, people make our life a living hell. It's kind of normal. It goes with the territory. But with Donnie, when you dare question one of his crimes or try and hold him accountable, now you're an evil, devil, horrible person going after innocent people. That's how Donnie always puts it. Can't hurt any more innocent people. Any group of people Donnie describes, just put the word me in there. Now Bob Mueller can't hurt me anymore. That's what he meant. So you don't think there's anything wrong with the post saying, good, Robert Mueller's dead? We should have empathy for what's been done to the president and his family. Can you believe it? Not empathy with Bob Mueller's family, who just died. Empathy with what the orange abomination has been through. Again, you people and your cult and your Reich, you don't even understand how far backward you are. You think you're walking forward, you're walking backward. You think you're going up, you're going down. A man just died. This thing talking about after the other thing, the orange thing, said, good, he's dead. This thing's saying we need to empathize with the president. There are going to be some big surprises in yo neck of the woods. And what I mean by that is all of you people that think you're on the right side of this with Mr. Bessett doing this kind of magic, it's going to slap you in the face, son, how wrong the side of it you were on. And the man's going to do that. And you're going to have the shock of your existence. Okay, this is the Iranian spokesman again. I keep missing this guy's title. I saw it today again too, and I can't remember it. This dude, we've seen him before. He keeps giving statements, and he talks big shit. In the event that American threats are carried out tomorrow's a big day around 7, 8 o'clock, between 6 and 8 p.m. That's when the 48 hours are up, son. I'm letting you know. And I'm getting you ready for it, because our world might never be the same after tomorrow. Some shit about to go down. Donnie and Bibi about to throw a fucking match on the gasoline. You understand what I'm saying, son? That's why I'm doing this tonight, because I don't know what the world going to be like after tomorrow. So if America carries out its threats that Donnie posted over the weekend, Strait of Hormuz will be completely closed and will not be reopened till our destroyed plants are rebuilt. All similar companies in the region which Americans hold shares will be completely destroyed. Power plants in regional countries hosting American bases will be legitimate targets for us. That sounds great, right? And they've shown they can hit targets, son, so they don't sound like empty threats anymore. Okay, fat ass bags of cash home, and we hadn't seen him for a little bit. Donnie's pissed off. He wants to send a mass Gestapo to kill people at airports and send terrorists to airports. So he brings out fat ass, miserable ass Tom Homan again. Boy, how quick we've all forgotten the puppy killer, too. She's just like a fading memory. Dana Bash, are ICE agents going to move into American airports starting tomorrow? Homan, yes, I'm currently working on a plan. We'll execute tomorrow. Bash, are ICE agents even remotely trained to handle security at airports? Homan, ICE agents receive high-level training. Yeah, the training is, all right, guys. Remember, if you're going to shoot somebody, make sure it's a liberal or protester, violate people's rights, cause mayhem, rape, steal, murder, kick doors down without warrants. You free reign, son. You're immune. Immunity. That's the training. I'm not kidding. I don't care what they say the training is. That's a lie. I just told you what the training is, motherfucker. And it's obvious. With respect, if you're implementing a plan to have ICE at airports in 24 hours, how well thought out could it possibly be? Homan, how much of a plan does it mean to guard an exit and to make sure no one comes through that exit? Yeah, I don't think that's what Donnie wants them to do. I think Donnie wants them to do other stuff. He mentioned grabbing Somalians and shit. So tomorrow we may have the mass Gestapo at our airports. I hope you're not planning to fly anywhere. I'm not going near a plane, son. Since this strike came around, all the planes going down. Now we're going to have Gestapo at airports. Pissed off TSA. Oh no, son. I want nothing to do with it. I'll walk, son. I don't need to fly nowhere. Fuck that shit. Yeah, risk getting capped by some mass cunt who wants a bounty? Nah, I'm good. I'm good, son. Okay. I got a bunch of comments about this situation, about the mass Gestapo being deployed at airports. People are suspicious. I didn't look at it this way. It's bad enough just having a terrorist group at our airports. But it could be something for something in the future, which would make sense. Slow-mo coup military occupation tactics. First, Democrat-led cities and transportation hubs creating chaos that they use to justify the next escalation. Now, when you're a fascist endeavor, you have to restrict travel at some point. In Russia, you just can't leave, son. You got to have permission to leave. Because it's a fascist state. In North Korea, you can't just leave. I can't just fly there for a nice quick, trip for the weekend. That's not how it works, son. In China, I assume it's probably a similar situation. I'm not sure. But they fascist as fuck over there. You don't see a lot of protests in China. You know what I'm saying? You know why? Because you get capped. That's why. Without hesitation. They are ruthless. So coming in now, when they came into the Democrat-led cities, yes, they had to introduce the mass Gestapo to us and get us used to it. That's the way Adolf did everything, and that's the way this Reich's doing everything. So we've gotten used to that. Now at transportation hubs. For me, my thought was, after I started reading some of these comments yesterday, I thought to myself, well, this is a fascist endeavor, and eventually travel will be restricted. People will want to leave en masse. You can't have that. That leaves the dictator standing there holding his dick with no one's life to ruin. That doesn't work for Satan. That doesn't work for the dictator. So travel has to be restricted. So could this be, the beginning of, you just can't go fly somewhere because we can't have a bunch of people escape in the U.S. Because this is a dictatorship. And in dictatorships, everyone would leave if they could. And they would. So travel has to be restricted. And I wonder if that's what they're getting us getting geared up for when they pull that midterm bullshit, whatever it is. And they will. Don't worry. Guaranteed, son. A lot of people might try and flee the U.S. There might be mass protests that might be out of control. A lot of people might want to flee. They might not want that to happen. That's where the Gestapo come in. And our military, they deployed against us. Again, getting us used to the idea, because they're going to do it in the future for sure. For sure. We haven't seen the last of the military on our streets, the traitors that dare take the post. We have not seen the last. So I wonder if that's part of this calculation here. Well, we're going to restrict travel at some point, so let's just introduce it now. This person's saying coup, military occupation. Yeah, I've been telling you, it's a coup since his last coup. That's obvious what happened. When he got reelected this time, the plan was all sycophants, no chance of stopping me this time. That's why I told you, once you give him the keys this time, it's over. And it was over from last January. Guaranteed. America, I mean. So I agree with this person. Slow-mo coup, military occupation. Yeah, we've already had it. We've already had military occupation. Home and on ice at airports. ICE can check IDs before people enter the screening area. I'm sure that'll be fun. Everyone's asking too, are they going to be wearing the masks? I assume they will. Why wouldn't they? Their neighbors will fucking spit on them. They have to. Okay, this is a person again commenting on Donnie and he's sending the Gestapo to airports tomorrow. Really have to admire how full circle it is to eventually end up with literal domestic terrorists running airport security. Not even bin Laden could have cooked this one up, right? Adolf Hitler could, though. Straight inversion. I told you a while ago I characterized ICE, the Gestapo, as a terrorist force deployed upon America. And that's what they are, and that was the intent when they were sent out. I said yesterday, when he brought up this idea, I said, wow, the TSA is for stopping terrorists, and they're literally sending an entire terrorist force to the airports to cause mayhem. To allegedly do the job of the people that are there to stop terrorism. It's a straight inversion. So I just thought it was interesting. I said this literal thing last night, that they're sending a bunch of terrorists to the airports. Domestic terrorists running airport security. That's what you have in America. Starting tomorrow, according to Donnie and the Reich, fat ass Holman. That's what you got. That's your reality. Enjoy your flight. Here's Lindsay, dumbass, in the closet, Graham. After a few cognacs and shit. On an interview, this is Fox News. Lindsey Graham on Carg Island. We did Iwo Jima. We can do this. Iwo Jima, 7,000 dead on our side. At least that's the numbers I saw today. I'm no expert on Iwo Jima. I know it was a horrific battle. I know that. I know it wasn't easy. But that's what I mean, that America hasn't been in a real fight for a long time. Vietnam was the last one, I guess, where America took real casualty numbers. An enemy was fighting back to make that happen. That's a real fight. This is shaping up to be that. If they try and take that island, there's things Iran can do. I won't run it all down again. Then there's the choke point aspect, that where they're going to land. If they come in by air, they fucked. If they come in by sea, they fucked. It's all moguls and rock. Good luck getting any kind of tanks, anything with wheels on it, up on land and over that shit. I don't see that happening. So you got, what do? Put soldiers, just walk up? I heard helicopters and different things is the plan. F-35s and this. Well, you can't bomb where the soldiers are. You can't strafe with a helicopter where the soldiers are. This sounds like a nightmare, and this cunt, this in-the-closet drunk cunt, brings up Iwo Jima, where America took nasty casualties. Big numbers. It's like a portent for fucking disaster. And this idiot just says it out loud, because it ain't his fucking in-the-closet ass gonna be facing the bullets. It never is. Miss Lindsay, don't step out on the battlefield now. Anyway, let me take a break real quick. Comparisons to Iwo Jima. Donnie says, oh, it's going to go great. Don't worry. He tells our old allies that he fucking, alienated. Hey, just go in. It'll be an easy maneuver. It's nice and safe. Just go on in and handle it. It's easy. Donnie said this. Portent for disaster, man. And again, I forgot to say something. The strait was open before all this happened. The right created a problem. Now millions and trillions of dollars will be spent fixing it. Men will die. Equipment will be lost. The world will never be the same. All to get the result that we had before it started. All right. So Miss Lindsay won't be in Iwo Jima, but you know, all those young troops that signed on the dotted line will be. I'm sure it'll be easy, just like Donnie said. Only 8,000 troops on an unprotected island that Iran can just set on fire while they're there. Okay, Bassett said something today on the interview, and this is what it looked like. Besson said, sometimes you have to escalate to de-escalate. So again, straight inversion of reality. The same as peace through strength, which really means peace through war. A straight inversion, again, a straight contradiction that doesn't make any sense. That's not true. That's just an excuse to do more evil. The same is what Scott Besson said. It's the same philosophy. It's the same flip, the same inversion, the same evil. How do I know? Walter Funk, German Reich Minister of Economics in 1941. I guess Mr. Besson read his writings, huh? Said the same exact thing. Sometimes you have to escalate to de-escalate. So we know why Donnie chose Mr. Besson. Besson down with the Reich, with Nazism. How do I know? He's quoting Walter Funk, German Reich Minister of Economics. You fucking cunts. And you know who you are. The same way, what's his name? The Ghoul, Stephen Miller, is doing a Joseph Goebbels impression. Obvious. The same as Donnie is, has aspired to be Adolf Hitler his entire life. I'm not kidding. Again, a man doesn't have Hitler's speeches next to his bed. Unless, son. Unless. That ain't bedtime reading. That's reading for a psychopath, a sociopath, born of the fucking devil, who aspires to be Adolf fucking Hitler. And how can I use Hitler tactics to steamroll people in life? A sick fuck, in other words. And Mr. Besson's a sick fuck too. He's quoting an economics figure from fucking Nazi Germany. They're using that playbook every day, all day. That's all they've been doing. Amazing. Word for word. And Mr. Besson's into economics, finance, all that. He's literally the head of economics, or the treasury. An aspect of economics here in this country, a very important one. And he's obviously looked at the writings or statements. He knows of this German finance minister, whatever he was. Which tells me what he believes. That's why Donnie picked him. He down. Can't wait for the first part in Proud Boy to pull a gun on me if I have a bottle of water in my carry-on. Yep. They're supposed to kill the right people. So, if someone black starts some shit, some liberal starts some shit, maybe calls them names, whatever. Maybe they look at your social media after your ID. I'm not kidding. And then they decide what to do with you. They ain't being sent there to do a good job, son. They're being sent there to terrorize. Same reason they were sent out on our streets. Iran military spokesman again. I can never get this guy's name, man. Or his real title. This dude again. Talking the big shit. Every day, all day. If Trump, is a quote from the man. If Trump's threats against our power plants are carried out, the Strait of Hormuz will be completely closed, and until our destroyed power plants are rebuilt, the strait will not reopen. Straight from the man. This is the leader of Spain, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, to Israel and the U.S., and that's what this guy looks like. You can't start a fire and then complain about the smoke. Stop playing the victim. Right. You started the mess. You didn't consult any of us. You didn't ask. And now you want us to clean it up. No, you clean it up. A friend in Cuba just notified me that every single patient in that hospital that was on ventilators died tonight. I don't have words. There's something supremely saddening and enraging about seeing a hospital running on bare minimum power. Thinking about dialysis patients, babies in NICU, and others tonight in Cuba, this is a blockade of death. That's a great way to put it, and that's the building. And that's what Cuba looks like, at least right there. And I saw a bunch of people posting about this. And yes, they running low on food. They have no fuel. They have no electricity. And people are dying. And that's directly because of Donnie. They talk about it every day as if it's such a great thing. The Reich, Rubio, Donnie, all of them. Mexico's got to deliver them fuel, and I'm sure it's nowhere near enough, but they're trying because Donnie's got a blockade, so no fuel can get in. So not only is Donnie bombing schoolgirls in Iran and ready to escalate that into a full-blown fucking war with one of the largest countries in the Persian Empire, he's also starving people, killing people in Cuba via his blockade. Did I tell you Donnie was the Antichrist? I don't know if I mentioned that. Pure evil all this shit is. Just pure fucking evil. Going on around the world because of this motherfucker. Because of one scumbag. And those that enable him and do his bidding, that are the hand of him and Satan. This is Governor Newsom press office saying exactly what I said yesterday. By sending ICE into airports, Trump is proving the problem in real time. ICE has become the president's lawless, undertrained personal police force deployed to serve his agenda, not the law. No, his agenda isn't that they be trained. His agenda is that they cause mayhem, havoc, terror, rape, murder, theft. What Donnie represents, what he does. He's the Antichrist. Adolf Hitler was an Antichrist. He had the brown shirts. He would send them out to cause mayhem. Intentionally. That was their function. Same as the mass Gestapo. Intentionally sent out to terrorize, cause mayhem, murder the right people. So yes, Gavin is saying, or the press office is saying the exact thing I said yesterday, which was this. When Donnie put that post up that I'm sending my mass Gestapo to the airports, he was really saying, I'm sending my personal immune mass police force to terrorize my personal police force. He is proving everything I said. He was proving everything Gavin Newsom and others say about him and about the Gestapo. That's what they're for. Donnie's personal immune police force that can murder you on the fucking streets of America and no one does a goddamn thing. They already won, son. They got away with it 5 times now. Filling someone full of lead that didn't deserve it in any way, shape, or form that we know of. 2 we saw live on camera. We saw some of the footage of Miss Martinez as well after like a year. Do you understand where you are? Let's just take the main 2 that we saw on camera. They shot a woman in the face on camera. We all know it was wrong and evil and unjustified. And no one did a goddamn thing. Then they shot a man 10 times in the back that was helping a woman that they just assaulted. We all saw it on camera, every bit of it. We know it was wrong, evil, and unjustified. We know they did it on purpose. We know they were instructed to do so before they were sent out. We know bounties have been offered. We know bounties have been received for murder. And after they shot the man 10 times after shooting the woman in the face, no one did a fucking thing. Already over, already accomplished it. And he said it a long time ago. I could shoot someone on 5th Avenue. And you know, yep. He did it. And they got away with it right in front of our face. And a 4-foot ghoul stood there and said they're immune. And we all lived with that. Over. We lost. They won. The largest data center in the world is planned to be built in Ohio, and it'll cost up to $40 billion to construct. The 3,700-acre center will require 10 gigawatts, 1/3 of Ohio's entire power grid capacity to run. And let me guess, they're not going to build their own power plant like Donnie said, right? Right. I already know. The point is to share the bill with your dumbass. Why do you think your electric bill's so high? Crypto mining, data centers. This is a goddamn abomination. And it's so sad, you know? The oligarchy and their quest for Satan, their satanic utopia of surveillance where they, you know I texted fuck 3 years ago on Tuesday because of a data center and their surveillance of me and all of us. Not a human again, just everything's being stored. So when they need to go back, they need to ruin your life, smear you, whatever they need to do later on. It's there. Been that way for a long time. Now it's more in our face. So for that purpose, for the surveillance state, for the AI come kill you state, just for evil, just for evil's purposes, just for Satan, we need these monstrosities that use 1/3 of a state's electric capacity. That's what it's going to require. How they're going to deliver that, I have no fucking idea. And then the water, I'm sure. I don't even want to know the figure on that, I'm sure. Because you got to cool it somehow. $40 billion as well. That's really where I was going. The Reich and the oligarchy around the world can spend $40 billion to build their one aspect of their surveillance state. Do you know how many people could eat for $40 billion? What good that money could do besides a worthless fucking surveillance state data center? That's going to jack up everyone's fucking electric bill in the entire fucking state, I'm sure. And pollute the fuck out of the area. My God, a monstrosity of that size. It's going to be abject pollution, I'm sure. Wouldn't want to live near it. How much noise will it make? That's another question, because I've heard data centers and other types of operations like this are making loud noise pollution, and people got to live near that, along with the regular pollution. They got to live near that too and breathe that in and all that great stuff. But imagine the good $40 billion could do. Help the homeless, feed the hungry, build housing for homeless. Imagine what a... Nope, data center surveillance state. We want all the money and we want to enslave you, subjugate you, slave labor. We want to be able to kill you on a whim. No more democracy, no more rights, workers' rights, pay. None of that. You think I'm kidding, son? Not in the slightest. That's the agenda. You know, Satan's agenda. That's more important. Always. Donnie reposts someone saying he should get a third term because he got screwed over. So Donnie's showing us he's an abject traitor that doesn't believe in anything and just wants to be a dictator, be king of America, king of the world. Again. Trump to Israel's Channel 13. This is from today. You will soon find out what will happen with the ultimatum on the power plants. The result will be very good. Has the result been good so far, class? So I'm guessing. When Donnie says the results will be good, when Miss Lindsay in the closet opens the closet door and says, "We did Iwo Jima," from the bathhouse. I get real worried. Because when shit like that is said by morons, oftentimes the exact opposite ends up coming to fruition. So when a motherfucker that is going to be in the bathhouse with a cognac and a towel boy and not on the battlefield says Iwo fucking Jima, I get worried. When this fat, bloated orange moron in a diaper, the result will be very good. Really, Donnie? Are there ships in the strait yet? Is it open? How many oil fields and gas fields are on fire? How many buildings are demolished in Israel? How many troops are dead? How many planes have we lost? How many ship fires have we had? Why is the economy of the world fucked right now? The result doesn't seem good so far. Now you tripling down. That worries me. When the fat, bloated moron living off your credit card says the result will be very good, that really worries me. There will be total destruction of Iran. Every day we hear. I thought it was totally destructed last year when you bombed them. I thought it was totally destructed a week and a half ago. And the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that, the day after that. And what are we on, day 24, 25? I don't even know. About to have a full-scale World War III invasion. Mostly American troops, of course. And it's going to work great, Donnie said. Destruction of Iran. Again, I thought they were already destructed, son. Like 8 days ago. So total destruction this time, and it's going to work great, and the result will be very good. You can sleep well, sleep easy. I'm sure it won't turn into World War III, nuclear war, Armageddon at all. Don't worry. Donnie says it's going to work great. And it's gone so well so far. This is a jerk off Mr. Brennan, and I can't even remember his first name right now. And he's on Face the Nation. Oh no, this is Mike Waltz, excuse me. The reporter is Brennan, forgive me. And that's what it looks like. Brennan, when the president says he's going to bomb civilians' energy infrastructure in Iran, is he going to bomb a nuclear power plant? Cunts! I've been talking about this the past 2 days. They might hit a nuke plant by accident or on purpose. The next day, Iran says, yeah, we're going to hit that nuke plant in Dimona if you guys hit our energy shit. If you hit our nuke plants, we hit in Dimona nuke plant. They shot a missile at Dimona right near the nuke plant just to let them know. The next day after I talked about it. I hate you. 2 days later. Is he going to bomb a nuclear power plant? Is that on the table, son? Mike Fuckface Waltz. Well, I would never take anything off the table for the president. Neither would I, because he's a goddamn antichrist. You cunts again. Why, I've been yelling for 10 years. You think this is a game, son? You thought this was politics. You thought this was Buffalo Bills versus Steelers. I know. That's why we here. No, this is a nuke plant could get hit. A missile could get shot off. There could be fallout over your fucking house. Fuck face. Why I've been yelling for 10 years. Would have happened the first term if Ann Coulter and Alex Jones didn't shame this motherfucker. So it's inevitable it happens this term, right, son? Right. Right. That's why I'm here again. Not for fun. I could be sleeping. I'm dead fucking tired. But it's the apocalypse. World War III. Fuckface Mike Waltz is talking about, well, yeah, we might hit a nuke plant, you know. Nothing off the table. Really, asshole? Because these cunts will be down in a bunker that's radiation proof. While you breathing it in. While you bathing in the rays. As it's fucking punching holes in your DNA. Till you disintegrate. You understand why I hate you now? Do you get it? You should. Well, I would never take anything off the table. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm afraid of. With you fucking psychos and sycophants. It's guaranteed, man. It's just go in that direction, my God. Back to Besson again. He's describing the scenario of the war, the current state of the war, and he couldn't be any more off. My God. This is Hitler's bunker. Hitler is dead. Himmler is dead. He's describing Iran and the state of their Reich. Goering is dead. Most of what you're seeing are lone wolf activity. Really? Shooting ballistic missiles is lone wolf? One guy with a button. The mid-range ICBM that was shot off these 2 missiles yesterday, that's out of desperation. You could call it desperation, or you could call it, them almost hitting a target that's very far away that they should have no business going for. I took it the exact opposite way Mr. Besson took it. I took it as, oh shit, I didn't even think they could hit Diego Garcia. But it kind of looks like they can. That's worrisome. Yeah, when Hitler shot himself in the bunker and was in the bunker, the Russians were ground troops were closing in on Berlin for weeks. And the American troops were closing in on Berlin. There are no ground troops in Iran. They are not closing in on Tehran. They are just doing bombing runs and hoping it all works out. It's not working out. Iran is shooting missiles, drones, etc., and doing damage. And their Reich is perfectly functional, despite Goering and Hitler and all them being gone. Because the difference is, again, ground troops were taking over a country when Hitler was in his last moments and he gave up. That is not the scenario here. So a horrible comparison. I know what Besant's trying to do. He's trying to say it's already over. No, no, son. No, son, it's just beginning. And I dread the thought of U.S. troops trying to take that island or go up on that land. Boots on the ground. I dread the thought. I just can't see how it doesn't result in many American casualties, deaths. I hope I'm wrong. Maybe they're so wonderful. Maybe the plan's so great by, drunk-ass Pete Hegseth and Donnie and Bibi that, they just do it and it's over. Okay. Prove me wrong. Prove that you're competent. Since Donnie says it's easy to our allies when they're risking their lives and treasure and equipment. When Donnie's risking his troops' lives and equipment and treasure, he stays out the strait. Meanwhile, he's telling everybody else, oil boats included, just go on through, because it makes me look bad if you don't. If you die, you die. At least it ain't me. I'm at Mar-a-Lago on the taxpayer dime, putting it right in my pocket. Every day, all day. My whole entourage. Or Doral or wherever. I could not disagree with Mr. Besant's assessment here at all. I mean anymore. It's so opposite of the situation. If it's so near over, why are 8,000 troops on the way and 3 carriers and Bibi's foaming at the mouth to do more bombing runs tomorrow and hit electricity? Does he think that's going to go well for Israel? They got missiles still, son. You start targeting their electric, they're going to target Israel's electric. They're going to target electric and other facilities across the Middle East. These people got us in some shit, son. I knew they would. I knew they would. IRGC spokesman Zulfagari. All right, so that's his name, Zulfagari. Trolls Trump in English. And here he is again. Talking that big shit every time. Hey, Trump, you're fired. Thank you for your attention to this matter. This guy is, and the other several spokesmen, they making the president of the United States look like a bitch. And there is shit he can do. And if it wasn't Donnie, I'd be really ashamed and embarrassed. But this is exactly what I expect from Donnie. I mean, these people are talking, they're making cartoons about missiles and drones taking down, U.S. ships and all the different targets. I watched them today. And they talking this big shit every second, all day, every day. And the strait's still closed and shit's still burning and there's no progress. Astounding. U.S. officials have told their counterparts Washington may have no alternative but to launch a ground operation to seize Iran's Karg Island. Two sources familiar with the matter told the Jerusalem Post this will literally turn Karg Island into a U.S. cemetery. That's what I'm worried about. And that's why the U.S. Navy ain't in the strait right now. Because they know they'll get sunk if they go in the strait. This person says it's one thing seizing the island, it's another thing keeping it. Indeed, you're in their territory. And this is not Iraq, man. Japan has agreed to pay Iran in Chinese yuan in exchange for the unhindered passage of its ships through the Strait of Hormuz. It appears that all countries wishing for their ships to pass through the Strait of Hormuz will be required to pay Iran in yuan. And we've already heard this. Iran has basically announced that if you pay in Chinese dollars, we gonna let you through. I believe India sent a boat through today and has sent a few more prior to this, and they paid in yuan. So now you're having the U.S. petrodollar, the U.S. as the world reserve currency. Now you're having that challenged for the Chinese dollar. That's a big deal. So now, Donnie may want this. I've almost noticed a strategic effort to weaken the dollar. And this may be, Donnie might like things like this. I think because he wants to do, what Bukele did, have us all on digital coin. And the story talks about how there's going to be a one world currency, a one world government, a one world mark. And it'll have the number. I already showed you that. So I assume it will be that currency. What other currency would it be? This is Donnie here. Of course it would be Donnie coin. That's why I looked at Donnie coin. Even though I put it off for a few months because I knew what I'd find. I didn't want to find it. So Donnie may want the US dollar to go down. I don't know. I know it's going to be replaced at some point, regardless of whether it goes down or not. And I knew that the second the coin was minted. The digital coin. And he did that, right before he took office or the election itself? I can't remember. He did his Donnie coin with the fight, fight, fight. So some ships are going through if they pay in the Chinese dollar. India has already done that. And China is alleging, because it's a Chinese account called China Pulse. So understand where this info's coming from. They're saying Japan has agreed to do it as well. Now, in the old days, this would cause war just by itself, challenging the dominance of the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency. You pay in U.S. dollars for things like this. That would start a war immediately. It has. Many of the wars were fought over that. Whether they tell us that or not. But we already in a war with Iran, so they're saying, okay, well, we're going to charge for our strait like everyone else does now. Huge sums of money to pass through. And we're going to police it. And we're going to work with China to destabilize the dollar by replacing the US dollar with the Chinese dollar. You pay us in that, you make our Chinese partners happy, because China's a main customer of Iranian oil. You make our Chinese partners happy, you can go through. Shit getting crazy. Citadel CEO Ken Griffin, take a look at him. The world needs a savior, and the hope is that AI is the savior. Yes, the hope of the oligarch. The AI is the savior to the oligarch that wants work and productivity for nothing so he can keep all the money. So yeah, AI is their savior because that's been their fantasy, their heaven. That's the heaven they've aspired for, where they don't have to pay anyone. That's why AI is their hope for the future, and the surveillance and enslaving of us. Person said, this is giving us Antichrist vibes. I don't know who this is, Mr. Nobody. That's who's making the comments here. I don't know what they believe. Yeah. Donnie on a King Cyrus coin, being looked at as King Cyrus by right-wing Jews. The tech bros and the oligarchy, AI is our savior, because we've always dreamed of having our companies run on robots and AI and not paying a damn soul. Meanwhile, you're going to be paying people, technicians for the robots and replacement parts for the robots. Probably come out to the same cost as just hiring humans, actually. But you're in league with Satan, whether you know it or not. So you go this route, no matter what. You're like a puppet. The route doesn't have to make sense logically, financially. It's just to hurt humanity. For your imp. Whether you know you're of the imp or not, doesn't matter. Still worthless. Still just evil. That's why men like him and women like him say things like this. The hope is that AI is the savior. For them it is. Not us. And what an offense to Christ that is. My God. Eek. I'm glad I didn't say it. What if the placement of ICE in the airports is really a dry run for the use of ICE on election day? I have a feeling putting them in airports is not the big story. America, pay attention. So some people think it's a dry run for having mass Gestapo at polling places when people go vote in November. I really wonder if they're going to control all the transportation hubs. If you want to get on a train, you want to get on a plane, you want to get out the country, you're going to have to go through them. And a lot of us won't be allowed to leave at a certain point. So I really wonder again, is that really why they're being deployed? For that future use? This person thinks it's about the elections in November and them being at polling places. I've seen a lot of comments like this. Breaking news, Israel is awaiting the end of Trump's deadline and is considering a wide-scale attack on Iranian energy facilities. The deadline ends tomorrow, or in between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. According to Israel's broadcasting authority on Sunday, Israel is examining the possibility of launching a large-scale strike on Iranian energy facilities at U.S. President Donald Trump's deadline approaches, adding that both the security and political establishments support moving forward with attacking Iran's energy infrastructure. Earlier on Sunday, Trump threatened to strike Iran's energy facilities, starting with the largest if Tehran does not reopen the strait within 48 hours. In subsequent remarks to Israel's Channel 13, he stated that the warning he issued regarding Iranian energy would have very favorable results in the context of the war being waged by Washington and Tel Aviv against Iran. So Israel's foaming at the mouth. That's what this is saying. They're waiting for that deadline to hit tomorrow, and they want to go on a nice big bombing run. That's what they foaming at the mouth to do. That's what they're telling us here. So that's something you should expect tomorrow. Israel to immediately, when that deadline hits tomorrow, they just start bombing Iran. That's what I expect. I saw videos today that alleged Israel was bombing Iran. Maybe they started early. I don't know. I also saw a video of a lot of Iranian missiles hitting Israel. It looked horrific. I can't verify it, though. The Pentagon is planning to keep the National Guard deployed in Washington, D.C. through the entirety of Trump's second term. That will cost hundreds of millions. Forget about the hundreds of millions, son. That's bad. I get that. This is from ABC News, by the way. That's what they're quoting. I already knew this. Because I know the plan. Donnie's never leaving. I already knew that. So why would he take the Guard out of D.C.? I told you back when he first deployed them. Once they go full Reich, once they do whatever they're going to do at the midterms, there's going to be a lot of people out on the street. He needs those troops in D.C. to protect him and the Reich. When the pitchforks and torches come out, when they go full Reich. So I knew they were never leaving. But now they're saying it. So if the National Guard is going to be deployed the entire time Donnie is president, what does that mean for his chances of leaving, class? Does it sound like he's leaving? No, it doesn't. You don't need troops in D.C. to clean up crime, to clean up parks, to pick up trash, to do landscaping. They were never there for that, even though they're doing it. You know what they're there for. For the future. That was planned before you gave them the keys. Why do you think they're all living on military bases right now? Bondi, Nome, the Ghoul. For the future, for what they have planned before you gave them the keys. And it's obvious. No one wants to live on a fucking military base. But they know when they go full Reich, there are going to be people out on the street real fucking mad. And they want to be behind the machine guns when that happens. So when ICE replaces TSA, do they just shoot you on the spot when they see your social media is disapproving of Trump? Or will they take you to a back room? Right. Making lists. That's why they wanted all your voter information for the roundups later. That's why the Ghoul just said the other day, on day one, we wanted all states' voter information. Why? One, to rig elections and stop the right votes from coming in. Two, to put on the list for later. Your voting info gives you away. Everyone with a D next to their name. Roundup list for when we do that. And we don't have to wonder who's who. We got all your info. Because we asked the states. And the traitor states said, okay, we'll give it to you. And the non-traitor states said, fuck you. Adolf. So yeah, when they check your ID, guess what the next step is? That's why all these websites want our ID. It makes it much easier to link it all together. And I ain't giving mine no more, son. Ever again. I did it one time on Facebook. Never again. Not to these criminals. Absolutely not. Just so they can sell it to the fucking Reich? No. I'll go live in the woods and never be on social media again before I do that shit. So yeah, when they check your ID, next step, oh, check the social media. Are they down with the Reich or are they not down? We've already seen this a million times. Your social media is your dossier. It gives you away. Your political affiliation, your voter rolls are your dossier. It gives you away. The ghoul wanted that on day one. How many times have we heard about them looking at people's social media? You want to come into the country, 10-year social media history. Remember all that? That's in place, son. Are you critical of fascism? The idea that we love? The Reich, I mean. Are you critical of Donnie Shitbags and the Reich? The same thing Adolf Hitler did. Dissent is not acceptable to fascism. Freedom of speech is not acceptable. Critique of the Reich is not acceptable. That's Donnie. That's Adolf Hitler. That's what all this is. That's why every 5 seconds they want another list. Your social media, your voting info is all they need. Actually, only your social media is really all they need. But they have the voting info. Then they got the whole country. Every Democrat, liberal person in the country. You are then on a list for future round the fuck up. That's Adolf, baby. That's Donnie. Making lists, taking names. So when they check your ID, and then they check your social media, again, do they arrest you right there? Do they take you in the back room, shoot you? What do? They shoot you in front of everybody? Because no one does shit about that either. It's Satan America. I see ICE setting up to take over our transportation hubs the way they tried to take over our blue cities. This slow-moving coup is painful to watch. It makes me feel helpless and scared. Wow, the exact same thing the other person said. Yeah, transportation hubs. East Berlin, was it? You weren't allowed out of East Berlin because the Russians ran that, son. That's what fascism is. You can't let people leave. Not without knowing if you don't come back, your family gonna disappear. I'm not kidding. Why do you think a bunch of those, where were they from? Iran? They filed an asylum claim and then they changed their minds and went back to Iran. You know why that happened, right? Not that Donnie's any better. He's the same as the Ayatollah that he killed. Same entity. Worse, the Antichrist. He's got the means to kill a lot more than the Ayatollah ever killed. So it is a slow-moving coup, and yes, eventually they would take over all transportation hubs. That's what fascists do. You can't just travel freely. You might leave. And then the dictator has no one to subjugate. And he just stand there holding his you-know-what. With nothing to do. No one to ruin and steal from and murder. No one to enslave. That's no good for fascists. If everyone leaves. So yeah, we got to take over the airports. I said way back when Sean Duffy and Leon and all, they were fucking up the air industry. Do you remember that? Right when they took office. The first 6 months. Planes are crashing. They're fired all the TSA, all the fucking tower people. And then they're like, oh shit, planes start crashing. Shit starts fucking up. We got to hire some of them back. AI fucked up. And I said to you back then, it's almost like they ruined it on purpose. Like in the future, they might not want us to travel, once they reveal this thing. It felt like that back then, so this could just be a further... TSA's all pissed off, they're calling out, airports can't function, fuel costs too much, it's crippling air travel, send a mass Gestapo, now we control that hub of travel where people could leave the country and get away from the Reich. Like when they canceled the midterms? I assume they'll take control of train travel, all of it. Dress rehearsal for November, trying to condition Americans to getting used to seeing armed masked agents. Well, we already are. They've had the Gestapo out on our streets, terrorizing, killing, raping, murdering, stealing, causing general mayhem and terror. Then they deployed the military against us as well. So we've already seen it, but getting used to it where, class? At the airports. The place where you have a chance of leaving this shitbird called the Reich of America. The United Reich of America. That's the one place they have a chance of getting out. When they round up Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell, some of them might try and make a dash for the airport. If the Gestapo's there, well. And they could even be at the airports that have private planes as well. This is really a bit on the nose, Peter. If anyone thinks for a nanosecond this is about cows, I have a ticket to Mars to sell you. That's Jim Stewartson, and the reason he's saying that from Bloomberg. Thales Founders Fund backs AI cow collar startup at $2 billion valuation, and it looks like this. Cow collar, you say? Is that for tracking, I assume? And Peter Thales involved? Perhaps a pilot program for putting a tracker on you? You know, a wearable? A Mark of Cummins, son, I told you. You had RFK Jr. talking about he wants a wearable on everyone within 4 years. He said that out loud in a hearing. Wearable, you say? Thale doing cow collars. You know what else the collar probably does? It probably monitors the cow's health and shit too. But I assume the main function for a cow collar would be tracking. You have a herd of cattle, you know, some wander off. You got to keep them together. Some get away. You know, you don't got to rely on brands no more. You got a collar on the motherfucker that can track it. Why aren't they microchipping their cows? Yes, police state, dystopia, all the things I said coming very soon. Some already here. Are we at the end finally? Okay, good. ICE is now running the TSA at the airports. In another month or so, the disappearing of Americans from grocery stores, Walmart, Starbucks will happen. I've seen this kind of escalation of a fascist regime before. It has stages. This is the new stage. Get your passports ready. Shit, you better leave in the next month. Or does he mean your passport to show for ID? I don't know. But if he means to get out the country, you better do that soon. If I had the means, I would have been out this shitbird like a motherfucker. We've already seen people disappear from Walmart, Starbucks, and all that, but he means an escalation of that even. And I always knew that day was coming where, yeah, people just get straight disappeared. And those two cops you saw come to me that other night, eventually two worse men will come. And I'll disappear. And I knew that again. Long time ago. The mob already tried it once. Now to be the worst mob of all, the Antichrist, the devil, the hand of them, I assume. So what he's talking about is even worse than what's been going on, but we've literally been watching them grab people in Starbucks and in Home Depot and Walmart, wherever. A lot of them U.S. citizens. So this mass Gestapo at the airport thing could have a whole nother aspect to it that we don't know about. That could be for the midterms when they go full Reich. It could be an attempt right now just to take over the main travel hub, the end point to where you can literally get out of the country from that place, an airport. And the more I think about it, it really kind of feels like that is the plan. Because, again, the midterms are coming up. They cannot have a blue wave and impeachments and Bondi going to jail and all. That's not going to fucking happen. They won't give him the chance. Donnie learned from his last coup. Don't give him a chance to stop me. That's what's going to happen. They won't have a chance to stop him. And he's going to sneak attack him. Round him up in the middle. Everything's in the middle of the night. So I expect to wake up to it. And eventually, yes, people will be really disappeared. I'll probably be disappeared. That's what I expect. At some point. And I'm just going to go till then. If that's the way it goes, which I assume it will. And, you know, you got to decide what you want to do in that situation. How you're going to handle it. But if you ain't on the side of the Reich, you should expect that situation in your future. You have to decide how you're going to handle that situation. And I definitely wouldn't go looking for it by going to an airport while the mass Gestapo are there. Just, you know, some advice. Anyway, I wanted to get you ready for tomorrow and help you understand that tomorrow, I assume a match is going to get thrown on the gasoline by Bibi and Donnie. And this shit going to get more out of control because Iran will respond. So I don't know what the fuck gonna happen tomorrow. Expect it to be wild. And get mentally prepared because these dumbasses, they could hit a nuke plant or Iran could hit a nuke plant. Eventually a nuke could get shot off. These are maniacs. Bibi, Donnie. And they both got nukes. And Donnie's the AC. So no matter what happens, we all know the one place this is all going. Disaster. I mean all of it. The Reich, the world, the Antichrist, the devil. All of it. Where it ends up. No matter what, it's inevitable. It goes to fucking disaster. Be it over this Iran thing, something else. But this Iran thing's looking to be a disaster in our near fucking future. Like someone hits a nuke plant or something. I got a bad feeling. And the day I mention it, the next 2 days, they're all talking about hitting nuke plants. And Iran literally shoots a missile near one to let the enemy know, yeah, we'll hit it if we have to. If you take it there, we will take it there. So again, you may wake up one of these weeks, months, the next few months, and someone shot a nuke off, hit a nuke plant. Be mentally prepared. Be mentally prepared for escalation with the mass Gestapo, the military, and the midterms not happening in any real way, even if they have a facade of it. You need to mentally prepare for that. It will only get uglier. We just in one of those times, son, like they were in the 30s in Germany, and there's nothing anyone could do. Or I should say, the people that could do something won't. So it only goes to disaster, and tomorrow I'm just afraid to see what these fuckers do. Because Bibi's pissed because Iran hitting targets in Israel. I've seen the pictures, I've seen the footage. What has gotten out? So imagine what we haven't seen. Iran is hitting targets around the Middle East. Iran is making both of them look fucking abject stupid. Bibi and Donnie, I mean. They are mad. And all they know how to do, since this is their big moment, is throw more bombs and bodies at it. That's never a good plan. That's the Russian idea of fighting war. More bodies. But we have no bullets, comrade. More bodies. That's the Russian way of handling things, and it doesn't go well. So tomorrow should be fun. Don't take the mark. Have a wonderful evening.